only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. You here with your faves on Hump Day?
It is me, finally.
Yeah, it's me, Azem, and of course, I'm here with Jade, Gwenny, Gwenadita, CPL, Martha Stewart Johnson, as we endeavor to take you through this audio-visual journey known as Island Tea.
Indeed. Morning.
Jade, we are back. We are here. How is your mental health? How are you doing? How's the family?
All fine. All fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, my mental health ain't doing too bad today.
Nice.
Although I'm lacking sleep as usual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got some work for you to do. Remember, I was supposed to call you back on the weekend?
Yeah.
I call you, you were busy. Then you call me, I was busy.
I wasn't busy, I was sleeping.
You were sleeping? You're busy sleeping?
You're right, right.
You're busy sleeping.
Just 99.9 out of 10, 100 times, if you call me hearing me, it's because I'm sleeping. Because, you know, I'm going to answer my phone.
Right, you're right. Well, guys, it's Hump Day, and we're back in. Woo.
How are you?
Oh, me? Let's see, how am I? I am doing well for the most part. Feeling quite rested in relation to how I've felt the past few weeks. Not saying that I've actually gotten significant amount of rest.
But you just feel rested.
Yeah, in comparison to what was happening in the last few weeks.
Vibes.
Knowing that the rest of the week is going to be
hell? Yes.
Well,
at least you're already at Wednesday.
From tonight to Sunday non-stop. It's gonna be late nights.
So you go.
And the thing is, I don't want people to misconstrue when I come in here and talk about being tired and stuff like that. No, like I am grateful. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I am grateful. It was almost 2 years that I wasn't tired. It's almost 2 years that I was very well rested.
Listen, enough rest.
And so I appreciate times when I'm tired and I'm busy and I'm afforded the opportunity to earn something, and so I'm grateful. I'm definitely not complaining about the lack of sleep. It's just the reality of the situation.
Indeed.
One that I'm quite okay with dealing with. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. Did somebody bang up somebody last night?
But I was going to ask you, what going on at any point?
Somebody didn't tell me. I didn't know there was something happening.
No, me. I just get two back to back. You send it to me and then somebody else send it to me. I said, oh, you're festive down in SP.
Yeah, I just hoping that whatever happened, it didn't result in any serious injury, any serious bodily harm, any long-lasting effects of anything.
And also, if the rumors are true, why are you all attacking the politicians physically? Are we in 98? Is 98? It was 93?
93.
Are we in 93? Can we not? Like, what year are we in? This can't be big 2022. Where you are supposed to know better.
Jade, it is obvious to me that silly season is in full effect and the silliness will ensue.
Yeah, but y'all could talk. Y'all could use y'all words. Y'all been doing it. Even though I wish y'all wouldn't. But we're here now.
Jade, the thing that annoys me about some of the behavior that is displayed by supporters of political movements, political parties, is that the total lack of tolerance for persons of different views
Wild.
Isn't displayed when the politicians themselves get in the same rooms, You'd see politicians. When Nubian was here last week, I spoke to him about the picture that was circulating between him and Jew exchanging a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
They posed for a picture. He explained what was happening. And then we had a short discussion where he seemed to agree with me that persons could have different political views, be on different ends of the political divide, but not be enemies.
Imagine that. I would have never guessed.
It seems as though because you support one party and I support one party, then there is nothing else that brings us together. Not even the fact that we both carry the same passport.
A matter of fact, right? You're talking about the people who want pap. This is why you need to be on pap. All these people who going around threatening and fighting people over political views, that means who need to go on the peace program them. Because y'all doing too much. Y'all doing way too much. I'm not gonna lie. And this is why I keep my political opinions to myself when I log off at 10 a.m.
So after 10 a.m. that's it?
Don't ask me no about politics. Do not ask me nothing but...
Jade, what? You talking?
That's what you're looking at?
You have it there. Jade, that's what you're looking at, not me.
No, I was scrolling.
That's what...
I was scrolling. You're not getting distracted.
How could I not, Jade? Is them legs? But no, somebody's saying it's always been that way.
That and must continue.
And yes, and that is, And admitting that is important, because then we would have to ask ourselves the question, well, do we want it to continue that way?
No.
And I think the answer should be no. I don't.
But we've been said this. We've been said this type of politics don't make sense. It doesn't help the country to progress. It doesn't help the issues be heard. It literally makes the people them not want to listen, because every time somebody mention politics, they feel like it's a fight. Y'all can't have a regular, cordial discussion. Y'all beefing for real over politics. Y'all beefing, like trying to fight people, falling out with family, cussing on Facebook and so over politics. Y'all look dumb. Every day I come in here and tell y'all look dumb.
So this person is making the point that, but the strange thing is, all the politicians are friends behind closed doors.
It is not behind closed doors.
That's the point I was trying to make. They're very cordial in public.
I just literally see these people liming together, but y'all out here fighting over colors. Are y'all a gang?
We talked about it yesterday, Jay, the fact that it does beg the question if this is just something in human nature for us to farm ourselves into these groups and then try to kill each other.
Has to be y'all gonna be the reason that the earth ends, you know. We don't tell us, you know. Because y'all can tell me why I should be out here cussing on Facebook because somebody disagrees with me politically. This is the thing. It's not. Because people mother and father answer. I had a whole conversation yesterday, right? Because people mother and father answer, you know, just because they don't agree with the political stance. Like, we're going to have it all upstairs. Now my thing is, at some point we're gonna have to recognize that. We have to recognize a few things. We are the ones who allow ourselves to be used in this way. Right? Because don't get me wrong, there is an element of, hey, persons who are affiliated with political parties or persons who are in decision-making positions in political parties encourage these types of behaviors, even if the politicians themselves might not do it. And so persons allow themselves to be used. Sometimes it might be for money, and sometimes it just might be them preying on their fanaticism. Right? Sometimes people take advantage of your passion, and they're able to weaponize it. And so I think that is kind of what happens in a lot of cases. You're passionate. And again, we look at these parties almost like tribes. We look at them almost like teams that we are part of. And it really does make it so that when these teams come together, it's almost like the hooligan clashes in Europe, where the two teams met up in a pub somewhere and fight it out. And it's all about just getting that energy out, being a part of something bigger than yourselves. Who knows? Who knows what it is, that gang mentality. But I think we also have to recognize that once elections have passed, ideally the parties, whoever is victorious at the polls, has to represent us all. Everybody. And the supporters of that party should insist that their party does exactly that. No, you know what it is doing instead? Encourage the same victimization that they does cuss about. We party in power, so we get first preference. We ain't care about who. We ain't care about you because you ain't vote for us, or you wasn't backing with party. You're part of other parties, so why y'all feel like the government belongs to a party? It does not. The government represents the whole entire. We said this already, innit? The Constitution does not speak to parties. I've never seen it. But a lot of people don't read the Constitution anyway. They just go based on what they feel should happen. They feel that the politicians that they elect win, or they were rooting for win. So now things only supposed to happen for them, their community, the people who were behind the politicians who were rooting for them. That's not how it works.
I'm going to tell you something, Jade. I do not know what it is. I don't know if it's training.
You mean lack of?
I don't know if it's training. I don't know if it is culture. I don't know if it's indoctrination. I don't know if it's just persons. Different people have a proclivity for different types of behavior. I don't know what it is, but it's difficult for me to understand what it is that's happening within a person who is so deeply ingrained into like these types of things, right? Like for me, I'm a big sports fan. I watch all sports. I could have favorite players and favorite teams and stuff like that. But personally, I'm not the as much as I might get excited about the game, I'm not the type of person who gets into like that fanatical thing. Like it just isn't in me. I don't know.
I've never felt that way about nothing in this life.
Right? So it is somewhat outside of my realm of understanding what is happening when I see people, don their colors, jump up, argue with other people, get so passionate, get so ingrained into it. I don't fully understand it because it's just something outside of my understanding, right? It's I can't relate, right?
I can't either, friend.
And I've asked people like to try and gain an understanding and say like, what is it that possesses you to be so ingrained into this thing, to don the party colors, get so passionate about things, sometimes seemingly more passionate than the people you're supporting.
To be honest, they're behaving like they're in a cult.
They're
literally behaving like they're in a cult.
And so, but I don't. So I keep saying, I say, look, I know people who, but they're more Pam than Simmons, and more Labour than Dougie, more Labour than Bradshaw and all. You understand?
But they know what they're behaving so.
No, that's not the behaving, because in their minds, this is what it means to be a supporter.
So you think we have to get to a point where, well, first of all, it has to start with the politicians. The politicians have to start showing the behavior that they want from their supporters.
But that's the point I'm making, Jade. To me, the politicians don't behave like the supporters.
No, but I don't also see them condemn the behavior of the supporters either.
Yeah, I think I don't know. What I think has to happen is that we must educate persons about our political system.
You think it's an education thing?
I think it's an education thing. I think a lot of people don't understand the role that politics plays in their personal development, right? They don't understand how things should work. They don't understand the role of parties within our political system. Because for me, it was like, but the Constitution don't talk about parties. Why we have parties? It took me having to understand that in order to facilitate the organization, right, and to support candidates and to support persons making the bid for being able to get their message across, for us to have a galvanizing of political views and stuff like that, the parties play a role, right? So the parties help to facilitate that, they support the candidates, that kind of thing. So understanding, gaining some sort of understanding as to why the parties exist, that helped to shape my view of parties to begin with, right? That's why if I look at it that way, I don't see anything wrong with me going to this political party to hear what this political party has to say, and then listening to this political party see what this party has to say.
But as in my thought, that's what you're supposed to do. So what y'all basing these choices on, eh? And that's the most baffling part for me.
Because I born a Labour.
You're not born a Labour.
I was born a Pam.
I've never seen that on a birth certificate.
No, just
I've
up there.
never ever seen that on a birth
Some
certificate.
people are writing it on themselves.
It got to be because as I've never ever seen. A matter of fact, when my son was born, they didn't ask me. So
why he be? He's a Pam or Labour?
they never asked me.
You sure?
They asked me for his last name, his first name,
Oh, okay.
and that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then they knew where he was born because they were there.
I mean, yeah, that was there.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I don't understand y'all saying that y'all are choosing the best option for the country. Yet y'all only know the information from the party that you support. So how is that the best option?
I don't understand let me not say I don't understand, but in terms of education, how many of us are not familiar with the Constitution? And I understand
A good 85%.
and I understand why the Constitution could be
Daunting.
yes, a daunting document, the way it's written, the length of it.
Language,
And
yeah.
so I know there's attempts right now to put the information that is in the Constitution in layman's terms, and that is something that we could hopefully use to educate children. Because the truth is, until we get to a point where it's actually country above self, because right now,
I don't know who gets that. Oh, my mother.
but I mean, it's something to strive towards. And it's something to strive
Yes,
towards.
but we've been striving
Yeah, we
towards it
failing.
since we get it.
Yeah, they've been 40 years. America is 400, and we say, oh, they're going on with them there.
Yeah, that's true.
America literally is 400. So
That is true.
I think in the big scheme of things, we going through. We're getting our growing pains, and we're learning, and we're doing what we have to do. So I'm not totally dismayed, but that doesn't mean that we still shouldn't strive and thrive and strive and point out the things that are in need of work.
But
Right?
you know, when you do that, you know, when you do them things that discuss you still. You know, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you point out the fact that the politicians and the policies and the Constitution and all of these things have flaws and areas to fix and stuff, oh, you're anti-government, you're anti-party, you're anti-this, you're anti-that. No, you just want the best for the country. Why is that such a hard concept to grasp?
Yeah, it's like one of the things that I recognize is we would come in here, we'd point out things that we believe need some work, need to evolve. We point out things that we think are direct wrong, right? Things that need to change, and people interpret that as, like you said, being anti-government,
Well, that's
not recognizing that a lot of these problems are systemic and been around and we've been dealing with prior to any of the politicians that we have now even been in politics in the first place.
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with y'all.
So that is why. That is why the motivation for what it is that you do, what it is that you say, has to come from somewhere other than trying to please people.
Yes.
Right? It has to come from somewhere else. It has to come from a genuine desire to see better. Right? So that becomes secondary when people criticize or whatever. And then the truth is now, we may have the same goals and have different ways about how to achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we understand that person, that is your intention, then I think we could have a conversation. So I think we could have a conversation, but don't always work out that way. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up? Last that one. Let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. I saw you guys calling, so please feel free to hit us back up and join the conversation.
And don't call us with no biases, because we're calling them out, eh? If y'all feel like you're going to continue to call this station while we're on with all your nonsense and all your biases, ain't going to work no more. So, be forewarned.
Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT.
Good morning to everybody there.
Morning.
Jade, I'm going to adhere to your caution.
Appreciate it.
Okay. A few simple questions. I listen carefully and attentively. Do you really believe that a politician should tell his followers that if another set of people is not supporting them, they are the enemy?
You should not.
Okay. Well, do you believe another politician now should say when you see the people who are not supporting you, run them off the road?
You should not.
Okay. So you see, we the voters should understand that at the end of the day, we live in a small society, and we should have respect for each other's views and decisions. If you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you of yourself will be more comfortable having a conversation with somebody opposite to you than somebody who's supporting you. Because when you talk to somebody who's supporting you, they'll never tell you you're wrong. But if you talk to opposition, they will point out to you where you're going wrong. And how you could become better friends and understand and respect each other more better.
Yeah. But
And
you
another
say
thing-
you say a word that is lacking big time, eh? Which is you say a word just now that is lacking big time, which is respect.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's respect. Because one time, a fella pee on my vehicle, and when I asked him why he pee on my vehicle, he said, I disrespect him. I want to fight me. To ask him why he pee on my vehicle. Yeah. No, seriously. It's the people who are around have to tell him, boy, calm down. You disrespect him, and I know you want to fight him, man.
Oh boy.
But anyway, do you really believe that these politicians will put anything in place to prevent them from progressing forward economically?
From doing what, sorry?
Personally, if they will put a law in place, personally, to prevent them from moving upwards, like getting involved in what they're accusing each other of.
I think there's ways to bring external pressure. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think there's ways to bring external pressure. We've seen the fight that it is to get certain laws put in place. Generally, what I keep saying is we tend to have the expectation of politicians that to me sometimes it seems that we've confused politicians with statesmen, right? It seems, and it's not to say that we can't have a politician who's a statesman.
I mean, we encourage it.
Right, but sometimes we have to be mindful of the difference there. And what I would say though is it does become the responsibility of the electorate to hold politicians accountable. And this is what I've been speaking about as it relates to the dynamic that exists presently, where I believe the political talking points, the political topics, most of it is dictated by the political class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily that so in other words, the things that the electorate sees as talking points and important and things are generally things that are brought to the electorate by the politicians. It's not necessarily the other way around, which is how I think it should be. The truth is, though, that there are a lot of us who see politics as this terrible thing that is just not too important to my everyday life. Perhaps I have things that I feel are more important to me, and you could understand that. Mm-hmm. When somebody is trying to figure out how they're going to pay the loan that they took when they had a job and now they don't have a job, the last thing on their mind is integrity in public life.
Not only that.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that ain't what's on my mind right now. I'm trying to figure out how to pay this bill that I got here.
Not only that, a lot of times when people choose the politicians or choose the people that they put in the government, they feel like their job is done. So they feel like they no longer have a say. They don't have to worry about the things that are important in society, because in their mind, that's what we put these politicians there to do, and that's it.
Some people believe that their civic responsibility is exercised only once every 5 years.
Well, in this case.
In
this case too. You know. In this case too, but you know.
But they feel that, and so when we start talking about the type of democracy that we have, and people would then put on the table that democracy is the act of electing your dictators, is that type of behavior that causes that to ring true. When all you do is you run out, you drop your X, especially if you are dropping your X based on nothing more than
color
and this and just your traditional leanings and associations, and then you back off.
and then things go wrong.
And then
You're
you just
vexed, like,
no. They don't be vexed, because these are the same people that when who they support do something wrong, all they could come up with is the wrongness that somebody else did. You understand where I'm coming from?
Well, how come I talking about him when
I forget.
What? Okay, so just let the country sink. Just let the country sink. And then say is the people them who ain't even in power no more fault. Because that makes sense.
Not recognizing that on some level we all have a part to play.
What do you mean on some level? As in we all live in this country.
But what I'm saying is, Jade, people do not necessarily like to take responsibility for the part they played in the outcomes that they're experiencing. So it's always somebody else's fault, and then generally you choose and you pick and choose who to blame based on convenience. So it's
not based on the person who actually did it, who actually put us in this problem.
I just recognizing that it's not the fault of any one person, party. It generally, especially when we start talking about situations that involve nations, right? Generally, is a consequence of a series of unfortunate events that led to where we are here.
Most times.
So, in other words, if we can acknowledge that it's going to take, in a lot of cases, some time to institute the things that we need to fix the problems that we have, perhaps the problems didn't come overnight either.
Yeah, I think it's one person. But anyway, that's not how we work in this country. But we have a special guest. So we're going to take a very quick break and come right back with more Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN.
Be right back.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
It's that time of the year again. The time when Horsewood Furniture and Appliances gives away millions in cash back for free groceries with every FlexPlay purchase. Never-ending cash back for the past 25 years. SL Horsewood and Company Limited. Horsewood Furniture and Appliances Showroom. Ashley Furniture Home Store in collaboration with Value Mart IGA has given customers millions of dollars in cash back for free groceries with every higher purchase in their never-ending cash back. Yes, the Horsewood's cash back free groceries annual program and promotion is the biggest and longest running of its kind in the Federation. Come today and get cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries in the never-ending cashback promotion. Yes, happening now. Get cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase. The never-ending cashback is back at Horsewood Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Home Store, where you get cashback coupons for free groceries with every FlexPay purchase. Never-ending savings, never-ending discounts, never-ending quality and service. It's the never-ending cashback. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. The timing is impeccable. You just gotta love it. We're still here. It's Hump Day, guys, July 13th. And as Jade said before we went on break, we actually are joined in studio by a very special guest this morning. Guys, in studio we have with us Mr. Lincoln David Pelle. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning to you and your co-host and to everyone who is listening. I greet you all with peace, the peace of Jesus Christ, which is the best peace.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If it's one thing we need is peace.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's peace.
I'm a peaceful man. I don't believe in violence, but I believe when you have the right to defend yourself, you do so. But also in defending yourself, you could also deflect or just avoid something. That is a part of self-defense as well.
In Jesus' name.
Yes,
Amen.
So I believe that it is quite notable that you would start with the greeting of peace, because as some people may or may not know, you have recently entered the political arena, which some may term as being cutthroat, some may term as being anything but peaceful at times. And so I think it's refreshing to hear you announce and present yourself as such.
I must say, my friend, I grew up in a family that believes in peace and believe in family, but foremost, we believe in God. And the scripture says God is peace and God is love. He's not the author of confusion and of anything that is not peaceful and loving. So growing up with that and having my community and my extended family to show me love, to make me the person who I am today, I just have to be a peaceful person. Not only my family and those persons in my community who would have done that, but also the persons who my mother worked with. They were involved in my life as well. And I just have to give God thanks for them. And I had a cousin who was a Rastafarian. And he also and his friends played a part in my life, because even when I became a police officer, if it's one thing he used to tell them, guys, we're going to lime now, but I have a police officer here, so conduct yourselves accordingly. And so I'm grateful for that, and his friends did listen to him and did that. So I just want to say I'm a product of what we will call the community bringing up the child and the extended family. But most importantly, that community also involved a lot of pastors. And one pastor who I could bring to mind from since was a baby who was involved all the time was Pastor Jones of the Mount Carmel Baptist Church right there in Bowie.
We got Mr. Jones one time.
Say again?
We got Pastor Jones one time. That's my partner there too.
Oh, good. You see, so we know someone who always looks out for people.
Yeah, indeed. But you actually started touching on something that I find very interesting, which is understanding the things that contribute to who we are as persons, right? You spoke about how your community would have helped to shape you into the man who you are, and what community is that exactly? I'm from
Lodge, and I went to Molyneux School, so persons in Molyneux because I have a family in Molyneux, in Phillips. I have in Lodge, in Bowie, even in Cayan. I have Sandy Point, where my father actually from, so I have a large persons there in St. Paul's and Date Bay. So you could say I'm a island man in Nevis as well. And throughout the Caribbean, so I'm a Caribbean, and I must say I'm a global man because I have relatives throughout the world. But at the end of the day, my friend, I just want everyone to know the persons, even if they're not related to you, who come to your life should leave a mark on you. And there are a lot of persons who are not related to me, who were in my life, came to my life, some of them gone on, some of them are overseas, but I'm also a martial artist, so let me say this because it's related to martial arts. It speaks to everyone. I'm also a master. I have my own dojang. Anyone who comes to your dojang, you should learn something from them. And life learning never stops, because every minute you should learn something. Whether something good or something bad, but always choose what's right. And therefore, even the last person walking my dojang, sometime this week, would have learned something from him. Because throughout my years as a police officer, been a number of training, been in the martial arts for over 30 years, one developed the art of learning body language. And therefore one could tell certain things and know how to approach someone. And that is why I come here this morning to say I would like all of us who are in the political thing at this time to conduct ourselves in peace. Now you started off with a very important topic about society and how it is and how persons view politicians. But if we go back to the Bible, it speaks to something very important. Who it speaks to, if you have a just man running the country, you have a prosperous country. But if you have someone else, you have a different thing. Also, it speaks to, like when I was in policing, there was a saying, if the police is corrupt, then society is corrupt.
Right.
Because the police come from society. And therefore, it goes to politicians as well. If the politicians are that way, then it's from society because they come from society. And society, as you mentioned, has a very important role to play in how they want society to go. Let's say, for example, in the UK right now, how many vote of no confidence they had? The first one, the one they had in Boris Johnson just recently, his own party called that. And when they reached the numbers, in the morning, by the afternoon, they had the no vote of confidence. He won it. But surprising, right here in our beautiful federation, the last two, we know under the former administration, the Labour Party, how long it took. The present sitting Prime Minister, he was vocal about the same issue. I do not have to go too much inside of it because we know what happened. But look what happened after. Basically similar. And the Constitution, and if, a matter of fact, most systems that like ours, when a motion is called, what they're saying, it must be heard. You shouldn't dissolve Parliament because of that. Because the Prime Minister became in that position because of the majority of the persons who give him or her their support. And they have a right to take it back if they feel he or she is not doing what they say they're going to do. For whatever reason, they don't have no longer confidence in that person. But our public, our country, even our citizens overseas, didn't get to hear why. So I leave that for persons to think about for a while. But just to let us to know, but God says something in his scriptures. Everything works out for good. Because you know what? I am here because of the situation. And if that situation didn't happen, myself, Mr. Flanders, and maybe even Milo, and Chesley Hamilton, we might not have been here.
Right.
So everything have a good in it. And the good in it is that change is going to come. I know it might be too early for you to say to get into it, but all I'm saying, nothing happened out of time. And I think this is the right time that I entered politics at the right time for the right season and the right reason. And a change is going to come in constituencies. And I know I have two worthy opponents, but I believe I'm the best of the three. And my party is the best of the three parties that are contesting in the country. In St. Kitts, because we have System in Nevis. And they are our partner. We do one movement, one party, one government, one country. And that is the slogan that we are going with. And also my slogan is getting it done with Lincoln. Now most persons a lot of persons I grew up with might just know me as Junie. And Junie comes from junior. So those of you who are listening, Lincoln David Pelle is actually Junie twin from Large Project. His mother is Sylvanie Pelle, Sylvanie Percival, some person might know her as that. Or the red-skinned lady, because yes, she's a fair-skinned lady. So just in case you're wondering who he is. And also my father is from Sandy Point. His name was Lincoln as well, Lincoln David. So if you know the Adolphins down there, well, that's my family down there. And the Davids in Sandy Point who his mother married into Phipps. Lillian Phipps. So those are my people. So those of you who, whether in Sandy Point, St. Paul's, Date Bay, I am that person.
Well, you mentioned timing, and that without the situation happening, you may not have been in this position that you are in currently. So before this, did you have any aspirations to be in politics?
I must tell you, my friend, for many years, even when I was a police officer, persons always encouraged me to do it. But I was a police officer, and police have to be neutral because their duty is to enforce the laws of the land and ensure that the Constitution is upheld. And therefore my focus was enforcing the law and also informing or reminding persons what they like. So since when I was a police, I would have preferred not to arrest persons but to talk to them, because I always tell persons, look, the police could be your best friend or your worst enemy. If you're a law-abiding citizen, that's your best friend because he will encourage you and tell you things. But if you're an offender of the law, of course the police will have to come and talk with you, arrest you or summons you. So you will see the police as your worst enemy. But at the end of the day, he or she is just carrying out their duty, executing their duty, making sure we have a law-abiding citizen, free of fear and free from all signs that might want to say we are in a terrorized state. Because if persons are wondering if I go down the road today or not, something wrong is going to happen to me, not by an accident, but somebody's going to come and, rob you. We're living in a terrorized state, and the police is there to calm that. However, the politicians as well, the ministers of government, are also there to ensure that that environment strive, and that is why I'm here today to help in that situation, to make sure, one, we have economic development. First, I will have to talk about my constituency because they're the one who going to directly put me into government. So I have to take care of my constituency. Over the years, I've been through the constituency, and so my constituents will tell you that they feel abandoned, especially in the sporting area. And even if you look around right now, we had a cricket game some time ago, involved persons from overseas, and I did not know of such until I drove down the park and saw something. So sports is on the decline, and it's sad because we have good sports playing persons right here in St. Kitts Nevis who can come professionals. Let's say for cricket, the CPL come in. We have a St. Kitts Nevis team, and if I could recall, I think it's just recently one person from Nevis might have added to the team. But where is our reflection? I'm not sure if you're in sport, because like I said, I'm a sports person. But I like to see how sports persons progress, just like how they have an American dream. We can have a St. Kitts Nevis dream. Our sporting persons could dream to be, I don't even want to say the next Michael Jordan or LeBron James and those persons, but to be better than those persons. Because like I tell persons, even in my taekwondo class, I'm not teaching them to come as good as me as an instructor in competitions, but to be better than I am. Because if I just teach them to come as good as me, to a certain extent, I would have failed. They're supposed to come better than I am. And that is my dream for our young persons. Because I'm a sport person, I want to see our sporting facility up to par. First, looking real good, and therefore encouraging our young persons to get involved in sports, because sports can also uplift a community economically, and it can also do that to a country. Just look at the professional sports they have in the United States. Check out the amount of money they bring to those areas. It can happen to us. I'm not saying we might have professional league here in St. Kitts and Nevis, but our athletes could travel to those countries that have professional teams to be professional persons and send some monies back here to help their parents. And that is the plan I have for my sporting plan for my constituency, but also it will be adopted as a national program. So just to let you know some of the things I'm thinking about and what I have and, what I would really want to do.
Well, you mentioned that you were an officer before
Yes,
this
ma'am.
new endeavor. And that's something I really haven't heard the politicians that we have now speak about. How is it, what do they think about the current state of police and the police structure? Do you have any thoughts of how we can improve? Because throughout the years, we've had lots of complaints about certain practices by the police, how the police sometimes use excess force, how they deal with people on the road, how they deal with people when they are called or not called, or whatever the case may be. Do you have any thoughts on how we can get to a proper police structure that everybody could be okay with?
Yes, if you remember, my dear friend, I mentioned police, politicians, preachers, teachers come from community. And if there's a tendency of police officers to that, then there's a tendency of it's a communal thing, because remember they changed for 6 months. And if you join the police force at, let's say, 20, that would be 20 years of a type of training you have compared to 6 months. However, I'm not using that as an excuse. Now you reach in there, you should adjust to what you're doing. However, coming from the background as a police officer, I would have seen over the years where the police would have lost independence. They have a police act that say who can order the police to do what, and it mostly specifies that only a senior police officer can give a junior police officer direct instructions to do certain things. Because at the end of the day, that police officer is legally duty bound for his or her action, because he is the person who is in charge, and he should know the law. And if someone is telling him to do something that is out of the law, he should refrain from doing that and advise the person accordingly. Also, there comes a time, according to the law, where reasonable and just will have to be used. Because the law says when the police is talking to someone, I'm going to just give you a little thing. Policing is part of the program. I'm interested in policing because I want to see improvement, and you asked the question about improving the police. The police is there to ensure that if an offense or crime is committed, is to get the person, talk with the person. If someone or the same person is obstructing the police, preventing the police from informing him of whatever it is, it's an offense. It's also an arrestable offense. So it's not just an offense. You could be arrested for one, refusing to give you a name when legally and lawfully required to do so by a police officer. Even giving a false name, you could be arrested. Giving a false address, or if the police feel that your address is false as well, and you're not giving it him, that could be a arrestable offense. However, the police must be guided according to respecting the rights of others. That is why when I was in the police force, I even used to tell police officers, if you swear another bad word, I will summons you. Because I find it unfair, for something like that to happen. You're a police officer. And I'm going to bring one point out to let you see something. Even if, let's say, the Minister of National Security go down the road and say something harsh, or even push or maybe something to somebody, they might say, okay, I expect him to do that. But let a police officer do that. Even the most junior police officer do that. Because you're police, because what happened? The police is someone in authority. And therefore, they should be governing themselves as someone in authority, because they have the power to tell you, move from here, go there, legally and lawfully. The Constitution gave them the power, the law gave them the power, but it says it must be a legal requirement. Not just come to do it haphazardly, because the Constitution prevents persons from those arbitrary behaviors of the police and even also of the government. So, for me, training in human rights, respecting the rights of persons. I've been on a human rights law course because I was an instructor at the police training school as well. So, at my time, when I went to the human rights, I used to always teach about respecting the rights of persons. But I also want to mention again that when the police lawfully stop you and informing you that you commit a crime or offense, it is your duty to listen, because if you start walking off, you obstructing the police, the law says you can be arrested. Even if the slightest touch, you touch the police, you're beating the police. So do not touch the police when the police is talking to you unless the police give you permission to do it. Because you're beating the police. And that is also an arrestable offense. You have something called resisting arrest. So if the police hold you and say, look, you're under arrest and you're pulling your hand, and the law says the police can use reasonable and justifiable force to get you under control. So I just bring that to let you know. It might seem, but also the law says, if the police say, look, sir, ma'am, you're under arrest, and you acknowledge that you're under arrest, then the police don't even have to touch you. I would have arrested persons like that many times when I was in the police force. Sir, whatever the case is, you're under arrest, go up in the station until I come. The person went. Even the person in the station called me on the set and said, David, there's a gentleman up here said you sent him in the station. Is that true? I said, yes. They said, because we thought he got mad. I said, yes, I sent him up here to get the charge done. Because he acknowledged he was under arrest. And that's what the law is all about. But I must give that person credit, because he responded and cooperated, and he acknowledged and he went. He didn't resist. So I also want to thank that person as well, because he could have he could have just run away. But the law says if he acknowledges he's under arrest and he still do not go to the station, he escape lawful custody. So I just said that to let you know actually the workings of the police, the law. So you could see we could have a peaceful society. Even if the police come and talk to you, you could do it in a peaceful manner. You do not have to resist the police because the police only come to talk to you because a report was made or they see that an offense or crime was committed. Just cooperate with the police. That's all it is.
Well, I mean, for those of you listening and watching, just a reminder, we're here talking to Mr. Lincoln David Pelle, who is the candidate for constituency number 7 running on the People's Action Movement ticket in the upcoming election. So you spoke a bit about your plans as it relates to sports specifically. As someone who, like you said, has grown up in the large Molyneux area, now putting your name forward as somebody who, hey, I would like to represent you guys in the national parliament. What are some of the areas that you have witnessed need to be addressed within the constituency, and how do you intend to address it, given the opportunity to do so in government?
But mostly all of the villages have touch base. The play field, as we call them, they need upgrading. Sorry. No bathroom, no changing room, nothing like that. And that's throughout the constituency. I must then say I visited Tabernacle. Even the primary school need fixing because I would marry sports and education. Because after your life of sports, which is the life of a sports professional, is like maybe up to 30 years, maybe you could go over to 35 years, but after that, the new education have to kick in. And I would have seen from my time coming up, how the playing field went down. Molyneux, I used to call Molyneux inner city. And a lot of sporting activities used to happen over there. Football, volleyball, netball, cricket, and all these kind of things. And it's down. So the thing that we'll tackle is, one, I will talk with the sporting groups in those areas to make sure they let me know what they want. Because I could see, but what I see and what they actually want might be two different things. But for sure, I will let them know it is healthy to have bathroom or toilet facilities. Also, we are trying to get scouts to come here. So we need a media room as well. Somewhere records could be kept of persons who are doing very well. If they wanted fence, I will talk about fencing because, like I said, I'm looking about how they can make money from it. So if the property is fenced, to get in to see them play, you have to pay. I cannot tell them how much to charge, but at least to make sure they have funds to do whatever they want for their players and to make the facility look better, to buy uniforms and so forth. Because it's a game that some person wouldn't mind paying to see good games, good competition. So that's the first thing I will try to tackle, to make sure the facilities are upgraded and also programs. Because if the facilities are upgraded and we do not have persons to use those facilities, we still have a problem. So it's to encourage all teams, and I've already spoken to some sports persons, whether it's athletics, football, or cricket, to see how best we could get our young persons on the move, on the track, to not only play football or whatever sport it is in St. Kitts and make the national team, but to get scouts to look at them so they can make a good living for them and their families.
All right. So, I mean, it's obvious that sports is, and the state of the facilities are a huge issue in the community, in the constituency.
Yes.
From your observation. Now, I'm sure you are now, deeply into the campaign stage. You are talking to your constituents. What have been some of the feedback that you have been getting as it relates to, one, your candidacy, and as to what the expectations are of you if you are to then get into
Well, a lot of persons were like, I never hear you talk before. I see you. I didn't even know you could talk, but hearing you, you surprised me. I didn't know you were into politics. And then my response was, there's a time and place for everything. There's a time to talk. And situations sometimes push you into a direction you may not even be thinking about. And sometimes when that happens, like I normally do, I go to prayer and I ask my Heavenly Father a few questions. And I said, if it is you, well, let me see. And then guide me to someone who, Father, are you sure? Okay, the answer come back again. Well, okay, that's me. That's where it's supposed to be. So to answer your question with the hand, what my response will be, that's what my response is. And those are some of the questions they ask. And they will say, now I hear you speaking. What you're saying, I like what you're saying. You're bringing a fresh breath of air. And the issues, I like how you're addressing the thing. Keep on doing it. So I'm being encouraged by a lot of persons. And when I say a lot of persons, from all walks of life, from across the political spectrum, all they want to know, just continue what you're doing. And some of them, a lot of them, are saying, it is not that you're going to take votes, but you're going to win. We are with you. Because when we look around, we see neglect for 27 years. Because we have to remember, the present person who is the parliamentarian for Constituency 7 has been in that representative for 27 years. So 27 years is not 27 days, or not even 27 months. It's a long time. That's a lifetime of some persons, and also a career of some persons. Some persons put in 27 years and then they go on a pension. So you see how long it is. So it's not a short time. And they're saying, we believe and we have the feeling and what we see and what we know of you, you will get the job done. And a lot of them have committed. And all I'm asking for a lot of from a lot of persons in my constituency, give me that vote to help bring the change that we're looking for and to develop our constituency. By developing our constituency, we will help in the national development, because the PAM CCM party, the one movement, the one team, will be forming the government after the elections. And all these things that I'm talking about, our national political leader, Sean K. Richards, has said he will implement these things because he's also here and see these things and want to get them done. Because our young persons are very important. Our middle-aged persons are everyone important. But more so, when it comes to sports, it's mostly young persons that are into sports. Just like how we have Usain Bolt. We could never have a King Collins or other Usain Bolt, but we could have someone who could do it better. Every country is trying to beat that record. Now, being into sports, I know something about coaching. So even if as a minister, I will have to say, well, okay, I'm going to volunteer some time to coach some people, because I used to be a 100-meter runner as well.
Oh,
I have
really?
gold medal for it.
Okay.
Yes, I have gold medal for it in Cairn High School.
Okay.
Yes, you could ask if you know Leslie Williams. Yeah, we used to be running together, and yeah, we used to, But my interest at the time was not to represent the country; it was just to have fun, and give my house the point to win. And my house, Orange House, at the time used to win a lot of of the competition. Right. So I have medals for at 100 meters and so forth, and I have high jump, long jump, and these things. So it's not that I have medals for these things, and I reached as far as the high school championships, where I did the shot put and the jump, and I got medals in them as well. So to show you that I'm not just talking of sports for sports' sake. My children, my nieces and nephews involved in sport. I don't know if you know Kizan David, the long jumper. For saying he was here and he in the US and have some kind of record up there now with the long jump. That's my nephew.
Oh, okay.
And I used to show him some techniques we used to do for jumping. So what I'm saying, even as a minister, I wouldn't mind to go and share some techniques, because I just want our country to have the fastest, and not even one athlete I want them to have for 100 meters. I want us to have a pool of athletes, especially when it comes to athletics, because by having a pool of athletes, we can do very well.
Well, I mean, it's obvious to me that sports is something that you're very passionate about, and it's something that you're giving a lot of thought into how we can improve there. You did mention, though, that some of the ideas that you have in terms of improving the state of constituency number 7 is something that you have gotten support from the national structure of the party. What are some of these developments that you think can be rolled out on a national level that you have recognized, can really help to improve the state of the persons living in Constituency 7?
One, the sports program, because yes, it's for a constituency, but that can also be adapted to be a national program. Because the reason why it's my constituency, so I have to let my constituents know what I plan to do for them. And in Constituency 7, a lot of sports persons come from that area. We were active in a lot of sports. So I want to let them know I am here for them, for sports, to develop that area, and also to make sure, to the best of my ability, I will try to get as much persons who are in sports to get seen and to be heard by scouts and to get them out there, because if they stay here, you see where I'm coming from. However, if you look at Africa right now, the continent of Africa, the African countries, how many European teams go down there to scout footballers? Why can't we have a pool of footballers right here in St. Kitts and Nevis? Cricket, you see how persons go to the India professional thing and even to go to county cricket. I'm talking about our young cricketers, get that opportunity. We have CPL coming, and how many persons from St. Kitts and Nevis playing? You catch the gist. Even not for St. Kitts, but for other teams. But other teams, you understand where I'm coming from. I want our sports persons to benefit to the maximum. So therefore, my program that I have for my constituency will annex itself to a national program.
Right.
When it comes to crime as well, it's the same thing. So I just want the police officers to know, come on out in your numbers. Those of you in my constituency, come and give me your vote. Because I am for the independence of the police. I believe the police shouldn't be, because you know what, when you interfere with the police, sometimes you have obstruction of justice. And if you have obstruction of justice, then someone will be denied justice.
Right.
So let the police do their job. They know what they're supposed to be doing. That's what the commissioner is there for. That's what he have his other heads of police is there for. Let them do their job. Same thing for customs, because customs is also a law enforcement body. Inland revenue is a law enforcement body.
Right.
Immigration as well. For the defense force, when I was in the police force, I was in the SSU. That's when the defense force was out, and the SSU were in charge of the Coast Guard as well. And I used to be on the Coast Guard vessels. I have plans for all these. Our borders need secure. So therefore, I have training in all these things. I know what it's all about. And those persons in those positions know what it's all about. But sometimes we have to let those persons do what they're supposed to do and, try to stop to get involved. Yes, there have to be guidance from the political arm, but the professionals in those fields know what they're supposed to do.
So based on what you're saying, I'm able to ascertain that based on your observations, you've seen situations where the independence of the police force has been undermined. I'm assuming then that you're talking specifically by persons within the political of society. Is it that from what you've observed, politicians have used the police or any of these other institutions that you mentioned to carry out their own personal wishes? Is it that they have perhaps been asked to look the other way? Like, in what ways specifically have you observed the independence of the police force and the other law, the law enforcement agencies been undermined?
Well, you see, the effect I've seen certain stuff, but to pinpoint a circle to tell them do this and do that,
Right.
It may not be so, but it may be about preventing them from being more in law enforcement. And you realize
so limiting
right, limiting certain things, and therefore the effectiveness. I mean, if you look around good, you will see all of us feeling it, some in one way or the other. And like I mentioned, what the law says, the role and function and the duties of the policies, you'd realize some of it is lacking. And most of it is not because they're not doing it, but it's because of outside interference. And I believe in the independence of the police force. If you look at Israel, you see how independent those police forces are? Even politicians, they investigate. And that's what I'm talking about. The independence of the police force. They have a job to do, because it didn't say everybody excluding these persons. It said anybody who infringed the law. And that is what I'm talking about. Even let's say because you know what? I know you would have heard the office of the DPP. That's the Director of Public Prosecutions. That office, yes, it is a governmental department, but it's also for and of the people, the interests. The Attorney General represents the government, but the DPP represents things that individual persons, because he prosecutes. So therefore, even if it is an arm of the government, would have offended someone, he's supposed to do that. Get involved and direct the police accordingly. That's what I'm talking about. Let the law and the structures that says supposed to get things done, get it done. Because if we are saying our country is going down a certain path, then to get it back, we will have to see what our law says, what our Constitution says, to bring it back. But most importantly, we have to let our heart, which is the belief in God. And if we believe in God, we have to check the Bible as well. And we should know what is right from what is wrong. Because you know what? Believe it or not, mostly all the constitutions around the world take their morality and their laws from the Bible. You ever realize that? Thou shalt not kill is in the Bible, and it goes throughout the world. Thou shalt not do this, and it is right there. So let us go back. To change the direction we are going, we have to look inwardly. And that is why I'm here as a candidate, asking for the persons in Constituency 7 to give me your vote. Let us bring the change. If you want peace, I'm not saying I'm the only person who will bring peace, but with my advocacy for peace, we will get the peace. Remember, as the scripture says, someone could want to show violence to you, but at the end of the day, if you do not show violence to them, peace will come. Because the scripture said violence beget violence. We know that, right? And therefore, if you want to live peacefully, we have to also listen to persons. Let them say what they have to say, because sometimes there are some persons who just want to vent, because we do not know the pressure that some persons are going through. And that's my approach. Those persons who know me, no problem. During my campaign, I listen to persons, they vent and why they may not vote for me. But at the end of the day, I said, it is my duty to ask you for your vote. Think about it. They say, yes, sir, I will think about it. And I do hope they give me their vote. Because we all live right here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Or even if you're not living here, we hear what is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. Some good, some bad, and some real terrible. Let us keep the good and get rid of the bad and extinguish the terrible. Let us get rid of that. Let us bring our country back. I don't know. You guys over here look a bit young to me. And like I tell persons who are 35 years, they may not even know the history of PAM, the prosperity we had under that. Electricity, yes, people say time change, but the electricity wasn't as high. Some person, if you didn't have all kind of fees and fridge and so on, you may not pay $100 for electricity bill. Water per month was like $5. Some persons pay $2. But over a period of time, if my memory is right, but it was under the Labour administration, everything just went up, but not by a 5%, but by a over 100%, 200%, and even. It wasn't even a phasing thing, so you could get adjusted to it. It was just boom, one time. And that will have effect, severe effect, immediately. But if you have a phasing period, it might not have been that bad. But there was no time to adjust to anything, just change. Even when it comes to the violence, from 1983 to 1995, if we had a murder, maybe one every 2 years, you're born, or you would have come up in a situation in an era where the norm was like 20-something murders a year and all these kind of things. That's not good for a small nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We do not even have 60,000 people. And I don't think that is right. Anybody who thinks that is right, well, so be it. But who think it is not right? Let's bring the change. Let's bring the change. It's about time. Prosperity was abounding. We had a lot of local businesses. But during the Labour administration, it went. And my part of my plan again for my community is economic development. Economic development meaning I want to see businesses starting up, small business started up in my constituency. I am in my constituency, I'm going out, I'm asking for young persons because these days young persons are very much inclined to information technology usage. And I'm asking for all of them to come meet with me because I also put this to our national political leader where we want to have. They have a Silicon Valley in the United States. Why can't we have something similar in St. Kitts and Nevis? I'm not sure if you heard me spoke about it some time ago. But all those who are good in IT, you vote for us. Vote for me. Vote for Pam. Vote for CCM because we have use for you. Just like how we have Facebook. Why can't we have persons in St. Kitts and Nevis doing that? We are small, but we could punch big. Because remember, if we were dubbed the most prosperous nation in the world, why can't we do that now? But not just by one thing, but many things. IT. We have a company who already doing that. But we want to have our persons in IT. Come up with software development. Come up with all kind of things. We could even have something rival Facebook. And you know what that is doing? It bringing wealth to the persons who develop those. All I'm saying, we want to facilitate it and put the persons in the right position to get it done for our nation, for themselves, and for their families. Remember, the more businesses we have, if we do not expand, all we will have we will know for a number of years, just maybe the companies on one hand, the companies that are dominant in our country. We are not expanding. We're not expanding. We need companies, and therefore the young persons, anybody who have a business idea, come, let's expand our economic boom. Let us expand companies. Competition is good for businesses. We want to expand into St. Kitts and Nevis. We want to export. Yes, those IT persons could export their. You see where I'm coming from? Make our country the best country. Make our country a country of dreams. They have an American dream. We can have a St. Kitts and Nevis dream. Let us dream big. Israel is a small nation, but you see how much it's doing for the world, and you see the technology. Even the UK, if my memory serves me right, even Guyana might be bigger than the UK, you know. But they're punching big. We can do that in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is my dream, to make sure we take us there. Job creation. Because, yes, if I give you $1 million now, and you buy a malt, you're no longer a millionaire. And if you continue buying a malt and not investing money, what happened? After time, the money gonna done. But if I teach you how to make $1 million, you're gonna make $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. And that is my aim. Not to give it to you, but to help you to create it. The wealth for you, according to the scriptures, the Holy Bible. Create the wealth for you and 2 generations, your child and your grandchildren. That is my aim I want to do for my constituency and to the entire nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. You guys, maybe when I talk to you in some other time, you'll say, sir, I have my own business, and I will be so happy to hear that. I'll be so happy to hear that. It could be also radio or television. We have enough smart people here to come up with a television station to create. And that is what I'm talking about. I want our young persons to think out of the box. Make St. Kitts and Nevis great. We are great people. And if you don't believe me, how blessed we are, look at the foreign investors when they come here. Why can't we do the same?
Well, lovely to hear that you have all these plans that you plan to put in motion if you are successful at the polls. But speaking of the polls, you may be seen as somebody that has one of the toughest fights in this election period because you are going up against the current Prime Minister. How do you think your chances fare based on past elections where we've seen him being somebody that is successful by margins? How do you think you fare in this upcoming election?
Good question. As I mentioned earlier, I have 2 worthy opponents. So it's not just me and him, it's someone else. But from what I'm hearing from people, some people are saying you have a good chance to take away a lot from him. And then a lot of people are saying you have a very good chance of winning. And when I hear things like that and I see the persons who are giving me the support, it's not a matter of if I'm going to win. It is the margin I'm going to win by.
What? Okay.
Okay, big talk. Let's go.
Because, as the scripture says, with David and Goliath, even his brothers go back and look after the sheep. But what they didn't realize, the sheep looking after him, if you want to put it that way, prepared him. Because during the process, when they were not there, he defeated the lion. He defeated the bear to protect his sheep. And even when he went on the field and he told the king, no one, all the great men of war feared Goliath. And David said, I'm going to take him. And you know why he was so confident? You know the story. You know who was with him and helped him when he was looking after the sheep. And it's the same philosophy here. Because I said how I reach here. And I don't think I'm going to reach here just to be a candidate. I'm going to reach here to be the representative. I'm here to be the representative. I'm the representative for Constituency 7. And what did David do? He didn't want the armor that the king provided for him because it was too big and too heavy. He said, I have something right here. And what I have right here is not the armor of a seasoned politician, but the armor of truth. The armor of being helpful to persons when I was not even thinking about being in politics. When I finish with this, I'm going to tell you why. I have the preparedness of mentalists from the training and the help that I had from people in the community. But most importantly, from my training in martial arts, from in the policing, from persons talking to me and telling to me, from reading the scriptures, from believing God, from faith in God, and that is very important. And looking around and seeing what was not taken care of. And I am saying to give me the opportunity to take care of it. Because if I can see the problem, I'm going to fix it. Because remember, when Labour was in power and when the present person came out, remember when we were talking about the motion of no confidence? Mm-hmm. Very vocal about it. But the same thing happened. Same thing happened. So yes, person might say he might be this big Goliath. Yes, I accept the fact that he's a powerful person in politics. But I am also a confident person and believe that God is going to take me through and the people will take me through, because it is how good you are in politics. It is the people. And it's the people of Constituency 7 who's going to take me down Church Street into the White House with my other colleagues, Pam and CCM, to form the next government of this great nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I have the support. They tell me they want change. And they will get the change because they are the one who are going to create the change for me. So I'm glad for that question to let persons know that, yes, I acknowledge I have a well-seasoned politician, but at the end of the day, we had a song one time, Small Axe Cut Down Big Tree. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Mm. And sometimes the unknown bring things to remembrance, and persons will see the unknown amplify what have not been seen or been overlooked. And then the known or the unknown take down what is there. Because what happened? Sometimes, because of certain situations and instances, persons are blind and deaf to what is happening around them until someone or something comes to point out these errors. And then persons will say, I didn't realize that was happening. So I do not have to go much into things. People know what is happening. That shouldn't happen. And I'm calling on persons, if you want that change, and I know you want that change, vote for Lincoln David Pelle in Constituency 7. I'm also going out and say vote for Mr. Flanders in Constituency 6. Because that's another one they will say is also a giant as well. Mm. And we're going to take these seats. We're going to take number 1, we're going to take number 3, because there's, they say want to believe number 3 is a hard one as well. But we're going to take these seats. But I am here today talking for Constituency 7, because that's my constituency. So I hope I answer your question, my friend, and those of you who are listening, I hope you listen what I'm saying, is that, yes, I acknowledge the task ahead, but I'm prepared, And that is why I'm comfortable right here, speaking with the confidence and the boldness to let you know I've heard from the persons in my constituency. And what they're telling me, continue what you're doing, continue what you're saying. Just continue talking, because victory is yours. And I believe what they're saying. I didn't say that. They're the one who said it. And therefore, I want my constituents to know I'm going to come back again. Help me to help you. Help me to help you, to help you, help all of us. Help this beautiful nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's get it done with Lincoln. That is my slogan. So I'm ready for more questions, and I hope I'm giving you some insight of what I'm here for and what I'm going to do. And I said before, I'm going to tell you something why I'm so confident when I'm talking about young persons. I have a security company, as you know, as you should know. And I had an accounting, I had an app. So there's something went wrong with it. And I went, call a place and the place, and I said, look, I have an issue with it. And they said, okay, come to us. When I went into the institution, I explained why I'm there, and a gentleman said, I'm the person who did that. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, okay, well, look, if you can do that, you can do it for yourself. He was like, what? I said, I'm not telling you to stop working, but I'm saying you're going to have clients. And I told him, in the next 2 years or so, when I say I want you to tell me you have clients. I didn't even tell him he have his own company or done with it, but he have clients. Because I told him he could be a consultant. And about a year or so after, I just said, sir, and he's tapping my shoulder. He said, I'm so happy to see you, to tell you good news. I said, what is it? You get a promotion? He said, no. I'm just coming back from Antigua from some clients. I said, I'm happy to hear that. He took my advice. And that is why I'm saying, I'm talking to young persons. You just come back from studying. Yes, you might want a job. But if you could start your own business, the government of the People's Action Movement and CCM, the one movement, the one team, the one government, will assist you to get your business started. Yes, we'd like you to come to work for government, but what? That means our economy, we would like you to work with TDC and Hasford and Billiman, but that means our economy will not be growing. Those of you who are in economics and business, you will realize what I'm talking about. We will just have the same companies all the time.
Right.
So we need to grow. And not only grow for St. Kitts and Nevis, but to grow to export. Because when I'm getting into power, all our manufacturing businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis, I will want to help them to export to other countries, just like how countries export to us, and we import a lot. Even look at, say, for example, RBTD. That is a bank from the region. Scotia Bank was here. We could have our banks in other countries as well.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. So I just
said
that to let you know the hopes, the dreams that I have for my country, St. Kitts and Nevis. And it takes you and your good friend over there, and all the young persons, and all the persons in between, even persons who have retired but still have the energy to go and have ideas. Let's get it done. Let's make St. Kitts and Nevis one of the best country, most economic power country in the world. We may not be able to do it militarily, but with economics we can do it.
Right. I'm happy to hear that is your goal, and you obviously have ideas of how to achieve that. And so, but unfortunately, time is fast spent. We do have some other interviews to get into, but I just want to say it was a pleasure talking to you this morning, and we appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us. And we look forward to the rest of your campaign and seeing how it goes, and wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. And I want to also put out there that whether or not you are successful at the polls, I don't want you to teach me how to be a millionaire anyway. So please feel free to give me the tips and the hints.
Yes, I'll do that, and I will accept an invitation again to come back, because I want to see us do well. So I just want to say thank to you and your team for having me, and I just want to say, God bless you. God bless Constituency number 7. God bless St. Kitts and Nevis. God bless us all. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. We're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Stick and stay. We're not done yet.
Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dish is done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All you Fruta. Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day. Whoa, Fruta. Drink the real Fruta. Your favorite Fruta. The natural taste is Fruta. Fruta.
Your favorite fruit has got a new skin with real juice within. Drink the real Fruta. Enjoy the real joy.
Taste the real Fruta. Enjoy the real Fruta. Refreshing juice of every day is Fruta.
Fruta, juiced right.
Friends is for you and me. Giving back to community. Friends is for you and me. Better for your family. Better service, better price, better value, better choice. Rewarding you for loyalty. Friends is for you and me. Better price and quality. Pump it up with Quicks. One pump and you're pumping. Dishes done, you're smiling. Pump it up with Quicks. Keep pumping. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. I don't want a dirty sink. Keep pumping up with Quicks now. Clean that sink. Pump it up some more. Pump it up. Grease is gone for sure. Pump it up. All your dishes fixed. Pump it up. Pump it up with Quicks. Pump it up.
Hey Dwayne, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Neil?
Okay, hold on.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island T right here on Win Media SKN. We're actually just getting set up for another interview in just a moment. And yeah, some very interesting information on the horizon right here on Hump Day. Jade, how you feel about our past guest just now? Very
Quite an interesting conversation we just had.
Yeah, I think it's obvious that he sees sports as being one of the main issues in
Very passionate about it.
in his constituency. So it is Jade. We gotta kind of wait and see how things play out in the
Political arena.
yeah and in the election. He did admit that he has a daunting task in terms of going up against the prime minister.
Yes.
Somebody who he says, and admits has been there for 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, we got to wish him all the best. He seems encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
He seems encouraged and he seems confident, so.
Yes, but as you mentioned, we have a very interesting conversation to jump into with the Rotary Club. They are here to talk to us this morning and give us some information. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Morning.
Good. Can you hear us okay, Jade?
Yes, I can. Hearing you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
that's
I
great.
can.
Yeah.
Don't know about Neil.
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing, by the way?
I am
Doing great,
good.
doing great.
Again, I don't know about Neil.
Well, guys, what people are wondering, why are you here? Yes, you guys are from the Rotary Club. I'm guessing it's to share some very exciting information with us.
Yes. Well, let me lead off. My name is Neil. I'm from Rotary Club of St. Kitts. And joining me, our guest today, obviously Dr. Dwayne Thwaites from Island Medical Specialists. So we just wanted to have a quick chat with you guys and with the listening public about our prostate screening event that's happening this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lodge Mount Olive, the Masonic Lodge building in Taylors. So that's why we're here. And I know Dr. Thwaites has lots of interesting information to share for all of the guys 40 years and over who need to get their stuff checked out.
Absolutely. And Jade just said she has some exciting information for them. I don't know if the information is all that exciting, Jade. And the other thing was I was listening to them. Today's Hump Day, actually, Wednesday.
Yes.
But we're here to talk about prostate screening. And we've been doing this since 2014, Neil, for
That's
the
right.
population of St. Kitts and Nevis. And what we do know is that prostate cancer is very prevalent in the Caribbean, and it's in epidemic proportions around the Caribbean itself. 1 in 4 black men, four out of every maybe 10 to 15 black men will come down with some kind of a prostate cancer or some kind of a prostate issues compared to the white population. And we know that the Caribbean itself is predominantly a black population. And so we see a high incidence of prostate cancer among the islands. And more so when we look at the data that we've been collecting over the last couple of years in St. Kitts and Nevis, it's very prevalent, not so much in Nevis, but we see a higher percentage of prostate cancer in St. Kitts.
Ooh. What do you think are some of the contributing factors to this this issue? I mean, just is it a matter of genetics? Is it a matter of diet, weather? Like what is it that you think contributes to this situation that you're describing?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we do know, and when we look at risk factors for prostate cancer, and there are basically 3 to 4 basic risk factors for prostate cancer, and so be it, we can't do or change any of these things. And so one of the main risk factor for prostate cancer, which I just mentioned, is just being born black, is a risk factor for prostate cancer. The other risk factor is age. We see a high prevalence of prostate cancer between the ages of 55 to 65. That's another one that you can't change. So you can't change your race, being born black, and your age, you get there at some point in time. And the third one is the one that you just mentioned, which is genetics. And so people who have family members who have prostate cancer are also predisposed to prostate cancer. One of the things that we're looking at in the database right now is a gene called the BRCA genes, which we see mostly in females with breast cancer. And if you have a family member who is a male with that BRCA2 genes, you are predisposed to prostate cancer. So those 3 risk factors are very important when we look at prostate cancer. And if you're a Caribbean man, 65 and over, with family history of prostate cancer and being born black, definitely your risk factor goes up 4 or 5 times. No matter if you bleach your skin, you're still going to be black. And so your risk is still there.
Well, I know for a lot of men that the reasons they seem to shy away from getting this test is because, they are afraid to have a doctor touch them in certain areas. What do you tell men to help them get around this fear, if I should call it a fear, of getting these exams done?
You'll be amazed what I tell them, Jade. It's better to put a finger in than to put your foot in the grave. Simple and straightforward. Also, one of the most important thing, and that we are getting over the phobia, the more and more we screen and the more information we get out there, And when you listen to what I just said a while ago with the risk factors, you find that you really need to come in and be examined, especially, and I tell people this is also, if you have family members with prostate cancer, you're predisposed, so you should come in to get screened, and you should come in earlier and more often than the regular persons. And so these are some of the things that we're trying to encourage with Rotary Club, with information and with programs like what you're doing, and we can get information out there. Most men will get over the phobia of doing the examination because it's important to them. The other thing is, Jade, I know you know where we're going and what we're doing. It takes me 3 seconds to do a good prostate exam. So you can imagine, by the time I'm done talking to you, I could have done 6 or 7 exams. And so it's just very straightforward exam if the person is relaxed and you're comfortable with it.
All right, I think like Jade said, sometimes the stigma attached sometimes creates this fear, and so I think though understanding the necessity of the test, I think that goes a long way in helping people to recognize that this, and I think perhaps the stigma is attached to not only this test, but sometimes men have a way of not necessarily going to the doctor and checking up. Absolutely. I don't know if it's a male ego thing or what it is, but we seem to have this feeling like, man, I'm gonna be all right, man. I just need some sleep, man.
Why I have to do these things.
Right.
One of the things that we are encouraging too is that we're trying to make this more of a family-oriented screening. So the wives and girlfriends and concubines, we have them encouraged, or even bring the men out to do the screening for prostate cancer. When we look at some of the other risk factors out there, and I think you had mentioned, those were the 3 main ones. We look at diet. We know that diet high in fresh fruits, vegetables, decreased red meat improves on your risk for prostate cancer. That is, it decreases the risk for prostate cancer.
Okay.
We also know, which is one of the main basic factors, and people laugh and get worried about this. People like Jade might start to say, what you're talking about, Dr. Twaits. But we looked at a couple of studies between Canada, the Canadian people did one study, the US, and actually the major study came out of Scandinavia, where we looked at ejaculations per month. And what we found with the ejaculations, Jade not even smiling, is that 21 ejaculations per month decreases your risk for prostate cancer. Now, everybody look at me in an amazement. How can we do this? But it is to encourage that. Now, I never said sexual intercourse. I said ejaculations. However, we do the ejaculations. It does help to clean the prostate out. All the carcinogens that are inside now escapes, and it decreases your risk for prostate cancer.
Well, Jade, you have a responsibility now.
Yeah, and I hope all of the ladies listening also realize that they have a responsibility as well.
To help keep them men healthy.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And I'm sure they don't have a problem with that. They want their men to be here for as long as they can possibly be here.
Healthy.
And healthy,
in good health, yes.
Yes,
in good health.
Indeed.
Well, if you guys want, I can talk a little bit about the logistics of the day as well. I mean, it's forewarned is forearmed. For the guys that might be feeling self-conscious or nervous about it, we can explain how it goes. It's a very smooth process. We have some good partners on board that help you make the process painless, or as painless as possible, I should say.
But yeah, I would love to hear about more about the day and how that works.
Sure. Okay. So registration desk, we start from 7 a.m. So when you come, we ask that you walk with your national ID. We need some kind of national ID so we can identify who you are, because obviously when we get the results, we got to communicate them to you. You're fine, no problem, or the doctor wants to come and take a closer look. Can you come in for a consultation after? So you need to walk with some kind of national ID, voter's ID, driver's license, national ID, whatever it is. So we do registration first. Then you move on to the medical history section. And every year we partner with Windsor University. They send some medical students to help us with the medical history section. And you heard Dr. Thwaites talk about if you have a history of cancer or prostate cancer in your family, then your risk factor is a little bit higher. So at the medical history taking section, they ask these questions, do you have a relative or a parent who had cancer? Or did you have a prostate check before? When was the last prostate check? So that's the second stage. The third stage is the blood draw. We actually do the PSA test as well right there at the event. And we partner with Avalon Labs. They've been a great partner for us over the years. So we do the blood draw. And I know chatting with some of the guys, the needle stick is a big deal. So you can bring your friend, your girlfriend, your whoever to hold your hand and help you get through that needle stick section. I don't know if you guys have a needle phobia. I myself have a needle phobia, but sometimes I got to take my wife to help me with these things. Then after that, you go to the waiting area to see the doctors. And this year we have 5 doctors who are going to be doing the screening. So we anticipate we're going to get some bigger numbers this year. With COVID, we weren't able to do this project last year or the year before. So we actually have 5 doctors, Dr. Thwaites, 2 of his colleagues, and 2 local doctors are going to be on board. So that the last step is the digital rectal exam, and that's it. So we're aiming that 30 to 60 minutes from the start to the finish, in and out, from the registration, medical history, the blood draw, and then the digital rectal, that you're in and out. So that's how the process is going to work. And one other important thing I have to mention, we partner with the Ministry of Education. They're going to provide the school buses to provide free transport to get you from wherever you are in the countryside down to the screening location. And the way that works, if you go to the closest health center to you for 7:30 a.m., and the bus is going to pick up at each health center. There are 2 buses. One is going to go from the east, one is going to go from the west, and it's going to stop at each health center to bring you on into the screening at the Masonic Lodge in Taylors. If you can get there on your own, that's fine as well. Registration opens from 7 a.m. We know some of the guys have busy Saturdays. You got daddy duties. You got to do your runs, the hardware store. You may have to do, helping around the home with the wife and the kids and so on. So we start registration from 7 a.m. We want those guys to get in and out early. Those that for Saturday is a lazy day, they can come at 9 or 10 or 11 if they want. But we encouraging all of the males, if you're 40 and over, to come on in and get this free screening. Take advantage.
I love the fact that you mentioned the buddy system, because a lot of the times, yes, it might be surprising for a lot of us, but men are deathly afraid of needles. So having someone there to hold their hand through the process may just help them. You are correct. Azam, do you have a buddy that you may need to help?
Jude, I'm on my own. I'm gonna try and probably pick up somebody there and see what could work out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan as well.
Maybe you could get one of the nurses, Asim.
That is the hope. That is the hope. But just for persons listening again, could you tell us the start time and the location again?
Sure. So the event is at the Masonic Lodge in Taylors. It's very close to Warner Park, very close to Victoria Road, very close to the downtown Bastille, the Masonic Lodge in Taylors. Or if you know the Olympic, SKNOC Olympic headquarters is right next door. Registration opens from 7 a.m. The doctors usually start seeing patients from about 8:15. But come and get your registration done, your medical history, your blood draw, so that by the time the doctors come, you can be in that first batch to get the ball rolling. And of course, I hope that was clear. I'm excited about this project. As a Rotarian, this is one of our major projects we put on every year. So I may be talking a little fast. My accent is a little different. So if that was clear, I can move on to bigging up the sponsors. You got that?
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
Okay, great. Okay, and if you don't mind, I'd just like to big up the sponsors as well. Obviously, we can't do this project without the sponsors coming on board also. So, of course, every year we host the event at Lodge Ma'olive. So the Masonic Lodge is a very important partner for us. Dr. Thwaites and Island Medical Specialist, Avalon Labs with the blood draw, very key part for the operation. Farm Care is always a big partner for us. They provide the necessary equipment that the doctors need to do what they got to do. Bank of Nevis, National Bank, Island Purified Water, Carib Brewery, Coscab. Coscab, of course, is distributor for Dasani Water and Coca-Cola. The Cable, Ministry of Education. The Cable is providing free Wi-Fi, free internet. So if you find yourself now and you're waiting a little bit, you can log on your phone and check the news or check the sports if you want to.
Boom,
I'll look
bam.
at
Ministry of
videos of
Education,
how the exams go.
or even Ministry of Education providing the buses. A Time for Us Foundation, very important partner for us. They do a lot of good work in the community in St. Kitts for cancer causes. We're very lucky to have them backing us this year. Scenic Railway is coming on board as well to help us, and KFC. So these are the sponsors. We're very grateful for what they do to help us to pull off this project. You know, there's a cost involved. We bring in some urologists from overseas. We got to provide all these supplies and so on. So we're really grateful to all of the sponsors for helping us. And 7 a.m. this coming Saturday at the Masonic Lodge in Taylors. Come and get your free prostate screening done.
Very important for people to realize that word. It is free. You guys have no excuse. You have no excuse as why you're not going to get this exam done. It is free. They're providing everything, including free Wi-Fi.
I think I might just go there after the show Friday.
I mean, listen.
Just wait.
You might as well. You might as well.
Be first in line.
Be first in line.
Come straight down.
Indeed.
You can hang out for a little bit. One of the most important factor about screening is that the whole purpose, and in the medical fraternity and in medicine on a whole, the purpose of screening, we only screen people for disease where when we pick it up, we can cure you of the problem. Prostate cancer, when picked up early, is cured. You can cure the person. The cure rate is 95%.
Oh, wow.
Didn't say 100. It's 95% 5 years and out if you pick up prostate cancer at an early stage. People screen for disease entities because they know screening has an impact on your life when it is done and done appropriately. Because of the fact that the Caribbean itself has prostate cancer in epidemic proportion, this is an important factor for the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to understand. If we pick up prostate cancer at an early stage, we can cure you almost perfect. 95%, not 100%. Once in a while, one or two might slip through. But if we pick it up early, the most important thing, Asim, is that prostate cancer in its early stage has no signs and symptoms. Most important for your listening public, nada, nothing, income, none whatsoever signs for early prostate cancer. Most of my patients that we pick up, and especially the ones we pick up at the screening, will come back and say, Doc, boss, I feel no pain and I'm in another. How me have prostate cancer? But we know that it's out there. If you start having symptoms or pain or bleeding or back pain from prostate cancer, Neil, tell them what I mean.
It's too late.
It is too late. It has already spread. It's gone. The early small diseases have no symptoms. Therefore, if we do what the Rotary people are saying in St. Kitts and Nevis, that we screen you earlier because you're in a high-risk population, you're in the Caribbean, you're predominantly a Black population, you will be able to survive if we can pick it up, because we screen on a yearly basis for prostate cancer. People with genetics who have family history of prostate cancer can come in early and be screened for prostate cancer. At the age of 35, we will accept you. So we start the screening process at the age of 40 for most men. If you have a family history or genetics predisposition to prostate cancer, if your sister, one of them, has breast cancer with the BRCA2 genes, that means you are at that risk for prostate cancer and you should come in and be screened. And if you're young, you could come in at 35. But we usually start the prostate screening process at around 40.
All right. Well, I mean, with this being such a huge issue, within our Caribbean community. The hope is that more men would take the opportunity like this one to go out and get checked. Guys, remember the key word here is free.
Indeed.
It's free for you to go and get yourself checked. Something that we're recognizing is so important to our overall health. Please take advantage. Please go out on Saturday up there at Taylor's and get your free prostate screening done. And I really want to thank the Rotary Club of St. Kitts for really putting these types of initiatives out there for us to take advantage of, continuing to do their part in terms of nation building. It really is commendable. So thank you so much for doing that. And to all the doctors, all the partners, both corporate and otherwise, who have come on board to support in this endeavor. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And to Asim and Jade, are you guys Rotarians yet?
No, Jade, what are we doing?
Well, is this our indoctrination?
Invitation, Jade.
Oh,
what you saying?
I thought it was, speeding up the process here.
And for you, Jade, don't forget, it's better to put a finger in than
a foot.
Put your foot in the grave.
I hope these men hear that.
So
I hope they hear that.
Remember that. Okay?
Indeed.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
And thanks. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm really enjoying my tea.
All right, guys. It is 10 a.m., which means we have to leave.
We got to go. We got to disembark. We got to disappear.
The weather looking a little iffy. Is this Sahara dust or is this rain?
I don't even know what's going on. I don't know if the glass dirty. I don't know if it's just a cloud passing. Sometimes when we're in here, I have no idea what's actually going on outside. But I'm hoping that whatever it is, it just is a way to beat the heat. It has been so hot.
Oh my gosh. Tell me about it.
Oh my.
That's how you know hurricane season gonna be rough.
Right, but yeah, it has been hot, but any little relief that I can get. Yesterday I was on this side of the road and this lady was coming and she was walking towards the building.
Mm-hmm.
So the lady, about maybe 10 feet before she met us, she just started yelling out, "Hey, sorry, but you hot, so I don't got to ease off the sidewalk here, I'm going in the road." The woman walk out, she stayed in the shade. I said, Miss, Miss Minnie, wrong you. Pass on by.
She announced it though. At least she wasn't rude and she ain't just push her out the way. She announced it, so you know.
Pass on by.
Small mercies, but yes, we have things happening this week. It's only Wednesday. Tomorrow, we have the Minister of Health, Miss Akila Byron Nisbet, joining us to sip some tea. I know she hasn't been here in a while. She's been busy.
Lots going on. So yes, look out for that one tomorrow. You know, we're in election season, so expect to see lots of candidates coming through and sipping some tea with us. Yeah, passing through.
Yeah, man. They love us, you know.
Tea time.
Yes, they love us here, so we'll accept them.
Indeed. Well, guys, it's been an amazing day. Thanks to all the guests. Thanks to all the persons who called in and was a part of the show in that particular way. Those of you watching on YouTube, Facebook, winmediaskn.com, and any of the other digital platforms, thank you so much. And of course, the persons who contribute just by being a part of the chat.
Love y'all.
Y'all make this thing jiggy. I can tell you, y'all make this thing jiggy. I really look forward to the conversations that happen on the chat.
Indeed.
And the radio listeners, big up yourself, 98.9 FM, real OGs. Down for whatever, I can tell.
Love them.
You okay, Jay?
Of course, I'm always okay.
All right, what you got planned for the rest of the day?
Work.
For what? All right.
Listen.
If that's what you choose to do.
Win FM is a busy station. They actually have a whole new show coming up tonight.
Oh, really?
Let me plug that really quickly.
What's going on? Tell me about it.
So, The Truth, hosted by Miss Sandra Quilly.
Oh, Sandra back on, what tonight is? Wednesday?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yes, and she will have special guest, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris tonight.
What?
Yeah, man. Starting out with a bang.
Avex. I vex.
I coming on everybody show about ours, eh? But let me don't talk about it. It's okay, no?
Timo.
It's okay. We gonna get him.
Timo, you should have been here first. We're asking long time.
And wait, I'll know, you know. But it's okay. Yes, this is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on all of our digital platforms. I have to send a special shout out to a very special listener, Auntie. You know who you are?
Auntie to listen?
She's not my auntie by blood, but she's my auntie by listenership.
Oh, we have a special auntie.
Yeah, we have aunties here that listen all the time. It's one of my good friends' auntie. Her name is Stevano. Her auntie is a big fan of the show. So we have to shout her out.
Okay.
We have to shout her out.
Auntie, big up yourself one time.
Man.
Big up yourself one time. Hey, but guys, we've had a great time on this hump day. And remember, guys, please learn from the losses of others. Don't have to go around making the same mistakes everyone else does. You don't have to do them for yourself. Please spend more time living your content than posting it. All right? Step away from the phone. Step away from the phone. And remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. See you guys tomorrow.